shaken, and they don't know what to do. Well, it is actually pretty simple. Plug in your quad, do a few things, and fly. That's all you do.
Yeah, that's all you do. You punch in some numbers, do it a couple of times, see what changes from the numbers, and you got a quad that is as smooth as steel. This live stream is not associated with or authorized by Steele Davis. Welcome to the second episode of Smooth Like Steel. This live stream is not authorized by Steele Davis. I am Abdul and joined by the fantastic Aeon. How are you doing today, brother?
Hi, man. I'm all good, thank you. How about yourself?
Doing happy, man. Getting some flights in. Hoping to get some flights in tomorrow in the afternoon as well. So, gonna have an update on my tuning front. You said you were gonna be out on the sun on Monday?
Oh, yes. I am going to be in beautiful Serbia, which is
I'm
going
so
to be
jelly.
fantastic.
I
Yeah, I'm
am
meeting up.
so jelly right now, brother. I am so jelly. I am jelly right now. Okay, so
Oh, wait.
let's jump right into it. We're gonna have lots of great footage. You guys gotta go check out Aeon's channel and Little Leaks channel. Aeon's links are in the description below. There's gonna be
I'm
some fan
Nilo.
and Nilo's gonna be there too. Is who's gonna be the four of you? Your boy Abdul is missing out, but hey, you guys set the stage. Next year we'll make it happen. Tonight, what we're doing is we're going to tune your quad. We have four quads to look at tonight. We're going to look at them all lickety split and we're going to get them going. I will pull up the first log we have, Brother Aeon, from Mr. Cubs. That's Cub. Cubs or Cub? How does he spell it? He has given us his pilot name, hasn't he? I think he has. Cub, yeah, it's
Take
Mr.
home.
Cub.
Yeah.
We have a video, we have some black box log, we have some notes. I'll pull that up. And while I do that, Aeon, why don't you smash that share button and let our peeps in the Discord, the Treehouse Discord, great place to hang out for FPV. Let those peeps know that we're live, we're making it happen, and that this is the place to get your quad tuned good. You
Oh,
guys,
yeah.
all you
This
gotta do,
is the place.
this is the place, and all you got to do, the links are in the description below. Fill out a Google form to let us know the details about your quad, share your black box log, and share your video. Boom, it's gonna get done and sorted. Let's pull up. We got Mr. So, what we got here, we got a Google Drive video from the pilot. I'm gonna pull it up. This is, we're temporarily on the response sheet. It's a really easy sheet. It can look a little, oh, let's make our cameras smaller so they can see. So they can see what I'm on about. Okay, we click on the button. We click on the button. Yeah, so looky here. This is the sheet. You fill in all those. Well, make your quad fly good. Yeah, it's true. Your quad's gonna fly real good. You just gotta tell us general stuff. What is it? What do you intend on using it for? What is the quality of the quad? What was the weather during the recording? Yada yada. Just data that we need in order to give you appropriate information. So we've got that data from Brother Cubs, and Cubs reported to us he's flying a Lumineer QAV S Johnny Special 5-inch edition, and his issue is that motors get hot after 3 minutes of flight time, but with an ambient temperature of 43 degrees plus, that is okay. Your boy Abdul also flies 40 degrees plus, and in that weather, it's okay for everything to be hot, not just your motors.
It does.
Uh, but not too hot. Let's take a look at the video and the black box log. He complains of troubles. He calls them Aeon. I'm assuming he means throttle related wobbles. That's the first.
I recognize that name. Yes, I think that's what it means.
So let's take a look see at this video. We got Cub on the 15th of June, which was how what date is it today? It's not that far away from the 15th. This was just 3 days
Yeah, a
ago.
couple of days ago. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
a
a
couple
couple
of
of
days.
days ago. Alrighty, tidy. We got it. I'm gonna play it in three, two, one. Here we go. So we got no sound. It's good if you can put sound into the video. The GoPro sound, hearing the motors helps this process. If we can hear the motors, we can tell more. So we see no mid throttle vibes. It seems to be pretty locked in. It was normal windy. It wasn't too gusty on the day that he flew. Here come his flips and rolls. You see, pretty locked in. Got a slight wobble at the end, so slight that without looking at the log, I might even blame the pilot's fingers for that. But it looks pretty locked in. It looks straight and true. Not doing anything on roll. Pitch looks even more locked in than roll. And we've got, so the bad behavior is going to come a little bit further on in the video. I've watched it before just to double check. Here we go with the yaws. There's some bounce back with yaw. All right, I hadn't observed that before. You guys see that it goes a little farther and comes back? That's no good. You don't want that.
Yep.
You don't want that. So now he's done. That's now, see what we just saw. This is it. 1 minute of flying. This is all the data we effectively need to tune your quad. For fine tuning, we may ask you to fly it harder, but this is all the data we need to tune your quad. Isn't that right, Ae0n?
Yeah, so exactly how you've said, on the roll, there was that little bit of bounce. I think, just eyeballing it, that's a little bit too much pee. But yeah, the pitch is nice and locked. The yaw does have bounce back, but we still need to check his rates. If the rate's too high for a 5-inch, that will happen. But yeah,
here we go. Here's the first wobble at 1:03. Boom, he punches up and it does a big wobble as it goes at 1 minute, and then it descending in bad air again. He gets some prop wash. He punches up again at 1:15. Bad throttle related wobbles. So what's weird is you don't see the prop wash all the time in this squad. It doesn't happen on every drop. And see, that punch up didn't have any wobbles in it. For a moment, I thought maybe he was just going above the hills and there was more bad air, and that bad air was making the wobbles. But he gets them at low altitude right here, which we should see in just a moment. Here we go. He's lining up for a punchy punch. There he punches, and there the wobbles. He lets go. Quad falls good. He catches it. When he catches it, there's a weird move. Now that's all stuff that we can, and here on fast travel, you see some wobbles. Yeah. They're weird. They come and go, don't they, Ae0n? Is that something you're observing too?
I'm noticing it seems to be prop wash, but after the prop wash would normally take effect. So what it appears at first glance is the quad will have some wobbles, and then from those wobbles, that's where it's getting the problem. The only way to really know what's going on is to dive into the black box and actually look.
Let's pull it open, buddy. I showed them the video. You show them the black box. Open it up and share that screen. We're going to take a look. See, one thing I am going to recommend out of the gate though, Cub, is check to see if your stack screws are nice and tight. Okay. Check to see if if everything in the stack is nice and tightened, because a throttle related wobble could always just be purely mechanical, right? And that could be what's getting you going wrong. We're gonna pull it up. There we go. Oh, Ae0n's gotten fancy. Look at him. He's got the video and the black box log lined up already. Dang, bro, you fancy today.
Oh, dude, we're just gonna get more professional each time. Okay, so I took the liberty of syncing it up, and it is pretty good actually. So we're gonna have a look at the roll at first, and we got it over the video. It looks really fancy, and you can tell what we're measuring. This gives you a good idea of what's actually going on. Play it again. There we are. That's it. The green line again on my graph shows where the set point is. That is what your stick is doing, what you're telling it to do. And the gyro, or my blue line, is what the quad is actually doing. So you can see on this roll, you tell it, and it tracks it really well. That's great. However, it overshoots.
Yep, by a bunch. That's a big overshoot. There's only one bounce, but that overshoot is a big one.
Yeah. Now there are like low-lying soft bounces over it. However, that measurement, you wouldn't be able to tell. It's
Yeah,
like
and that
point
could be
0.1
the
of a
wind
degree.
pushing it as well. That could be created
Yeah,
by the environment, given that it's down. This does line up though with one of your initial instincts, is that that's too much pee, brah. That's too much pee.
we can
Too
actually
much push.
see how much P he has, and it turns out he's got 40.
He's got a bunch of P, dude. I think he's
That's
moved these numbers around by the sliders. So I think that we're gonna need to just give him particular numbers in slide instead of slider input. There's another interesting thing in his header file I'll bring you back to once we're done with the basics. Let's look at the trailing edge of the graph now and see if we can spot the prop wash, because we know the P needs to come down. What about the D?
so the D. There's two options for when you have a problem like this. Is you can reduce the P, which doesn't push it as much,
Mm-hmm.
or you can increase the D, which breaks it a little faster and better. Now, one of the problems originally was the motors are getting hot. And as we all know, D makes the motors hot.
Yep, yep.
There's an innuendo in there somewhere, but um, you would definitely need to reduce the P on this one.
Yeah,
Definitely. If the
I would
motors are
ag-
hot,
I would definitely agree with that, but before you bank on that, why don't you pull that header file open again and scrub down, because you'll see that his air mode is disabled and that his dynamic filter is also disabled. Uh, n
um,
Not here. If you scroll up, so here's just it should tell us dynamic filter is off. It told me dynamic filter was off.
um,
It also, you have the updated black box viewer. I haven't updated mine as yet. In the old one, it showed me a red box here where it said that PID controller is active at min throttle, which is something we usually have turned on. He has it turned off. So he's got to turn that
oh,
on. I assume that was just air mode, but apparently air mode is on. The setting of the PID controller responding at minimum throttle, that needs to be turned on. And additionally, if we turn the dynamic filter on, that'll help with the hot motors. He doesn't seem to have any vibes. The gyros look pretty clean on all of the axes.
these are like I'm trying to make it look as nasty as possible, and this is what I'm seeing. It's actually a really clean gyro signal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Normally, like you may look at yours and it's up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, all across the line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that means the gyro is being shaken about, or there's electrical interference. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have a signal wire that's running right on top of the gyro. That's no bueno. You'll get really bad signals. However, this one, check it out. This is what it should look like. Very nice.
Nice and clean. Okay, so we've got three notes for Boyo. We'll tell him about exactly how much to reduce his P momentarily, but turn your dynamic filter on. Make sure everything is tight and make sure there's nothing banging against, no loose wire that bangs around when you go full throttle. Those are things that could be causing this. Can we take a look at his pitch axis real quick now?
We sure can.
So you see there to
Uh,
the left, there's some weird waggles. Those are the troubles he has right there. Those are before the roll. They happen before the roll on the
yeah,
punch.
I'm looking at the pitch here,
Yeah.
and it has what's. If we see what's shaking, we can hover over it. It's the D. The D at that frequency is not being filtered. So what's happening is the motors are like on. They're flying, but the brakes are going on off on off on off on off on off. And when you use brakes in the car, they heat up. Well,
Yeah,
kind of the same concept
that's
with
going to heat
motors.
up your motors. That's going to surely heat up your motors. Why is RPM filtering not on? He's running BL Heli 32 ESCs, he's running an F7 flight controller. I see no reason for RPM filtering and even dynamic filtering to not be on. Maybe that's how he's just gotten it so clean that he's turned all of the filtering off, and that's how he wants to fly it.
Maybe. Well, if he wants to fly it like that, he better tune it.
Well, in that case,
Yeah.
what may also help with these D-related wobbles is when we pull the P down, the PD balance will shift. It's
Yes.
plausible that these wobbles will just be fixed by that change because the balance will be better.
Yep. A lot of problems are actually fixed by your PIDs. They can cause anything.
Okay, so on the pitch, we have a bounce up over, but it's not as big a bounce. I think that's actually an acceptably sized bounce. Uh, for like, yeah, that's an acceptably sized bounce, but I'd like a bit of feed forward on pitch. That line at the end feels like it moves a little bit too far away from the set point. The roll set point was tracking really well. Um, so actually, I would say for roll P, reduce it by 5, and for pitch P, reduce it by like 2 points. Yeah, reduce it by 2 points. That would be what I would say over there. Oh, we've lost Master Aeon. Have we lost the internet on my side? We seem to still be up and running. But we've lost Aeon for a quick minute. This is okay, no reason to panic. We have everything up and ready to go on our end over here. Just you guys wait, stay with me. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that. We're back into the black box log, and let me show you guys what I'm on about. We're going to move away from the roll, we're going to come to that pitch axis, and we're going to scrub it forward there. So you see it's almost, yeah, I'd like some more feed forward on that. That's definitely going to give you like 10 points of feed forward on that point, plus 10 feet forward the on the pitch axis. That's fairly simple. Let's look at the end of it. That's our D term, that's the I term, that's the D term. Look at that jaggedy bit in the middle. Here is the info tab that I was telling you guys about. Can you guys see actually all the things I'm doing? Yeah, you guys can see this. So his PID controller active at min throttle. This is something that you want turned on. And dynamic filter, I mean, you can turn the notches way down if you like, but RPM filtering, I think that's a smart thing to have no matter how clean your quad is. Big fan of that. So get your RPM filter turned on, or if that's something that you're going against, please point it to us in your notes, and we will for next week's video, and we will make sure to bear that in mind. So here at the end, again, the gyro does one bounce over from there and then is very neat, has some pushover. So we'll reduce it by 2 points. The pitch P will reduce that by 2 points. Let's take a look at the yaw. Let's find them yaw spins first. He did them last, so we just scrub forward. Here we go. This looks like a jaw spin. This looks like another jaw spin. Let's open it up. Hey, the bounce looks significantly smaller at the start there. You can see the bounce isn't as big. It's tracking nicely, so we don't want more feet forward there. But at the end, the set point stops, but this keeps going. It's definitely indicative of too much P, but not too much P. Let's take a look at that. How much P does he have there? He has 40 on the yaw, so I would yaw also reduce it by yaw P reduce 2. Yeah, reduce P on yaw by 2 points, reduce P on pitch by 2 points, and add 10 points of feed forward. You seem to have no feed forward even though you're running Betaflight 4.3. Why don't you have feed forward? Please explain. And if that's a feel question, then that's okay, there's no problem. Don't add it. 2 points down on the pitch and 5 points down on the roll P. and let's see how that reacts with your motors and with the wobbles. Turn on the filter, don't turn on the filter. Let us know what are your thoughts on that. If you don't have strong opinions and you are not deliberately going for an unfiltered quad, the reason you'd have an unfiltered quad, in case any of you guys are wondering, is to have immediate response, is to get that fast response going. Why are you panicking, Sloppit? Why slopped it? Slopped it. Why are you panicking, buddy? No need to panic. Take it easy. Take it easy. It's breezy. Those are the roll, pitch, and yaw inputs that we have for Pilot Cub. Here we go. See again over there, a very small bounce at the top, but a very big bounce at the end. So there's a little bit too much push happening there. Let's get a little bit less push happening on the yaw. So that is our assessment of the fantastic Pilot Cub. Uh, After that, we have some other interesting video to take a look at. Let's open a log file. What do we see here? Okay, let's open a log file. We've got another log file. This one is from, where did it go? Where did it go? I downloaded it. It was the one from Boots. This was the video that Boots had, and Boots had a fire. He turned it up. He turned his quad upside down, and he tried to turtle his way out of it. But instead of turtling, the quad set itself on fire, which is not a good thing not a good thing to have, right? You don't want that. You definitely don't want that. Let's open up. It is fighting me. I'm sorry. The open button was fighting me. I know I have the file, but I can't seem to find it for the life of me. So we're just gonna download it again. We're gonna open this guy up. We're gonna hit download, and we're gonna get that beta flight log from Boots. We're gonna take a
So
look
Alex
at what does
Honnold
it look
probably.
like when your quad motors catch fire. What does the beta flight log tell you? It's a weird mark on my screen there. I gotta investigate. Okay, it is all pulled up. Are you back, Aeon? Can you hear me?
I am back. I am back. I'm sorry about that.
Awesome. It happens. Technical difficulties. Good job making it back in. Uh,
Oh, I scrambled with the laptop.
I got the I let him know that, hey, look, if you want an unfiltered quad for some crazy racing action, then hey, please let us know and we will appropriately tune for that. If not, please turn your RPM filtering on, even if it's really low. Reduce the roll P by 5 points. Reduce the pitch P and the yaw P by 2 points each. The yaw also had a funky bounce to it. So let's pull
Yep.
those down by 2 points. Let's see how it reacts.
And you might be thinking, oh, only 2 points. Well, the thing is, little steps. Little steps. We could just say, hey, take it down 10, 20 points, but that might result in something going terribly wrong. At least if we only move it a few points, we can see where it's going and
Yep.
prevent like vital errors. So you mentioned about Boots' quad. It had a little faux pas the other day. Tell me
Yep.
what happened.
Well, what Boots said is that he was just flying normally, and then the quad, for whatever reason, it happens, it wound up upside down on the ground. At which point he tried to turtle his way out of it. But the instant that he put it into turtle mode without even applying throttle, it just caught fire. And by the time he'd flicked the switch off in a microsecond, he'd already smoked a pair of motors. Looking at his, I shared that log with you as well. He said the last one, which is file 21, should be the one that. Oh no, there's one after that as well. No, I am on file 21, but it doesn't
Have you
seem
got,
to have any indication at the end of the file of turtle mode. The log just kind of stops.
it just stops?
It just
As in,
stops.
oh,
Ooh, it doesn't disarm, it just stops. So this is where the flight controller just freaked out.
yeah. So when you see those boxes, in your those ones at the end of your logs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this to be fact, but I believe that is when your CPU hits 100%, right?
Interesting.
Um, I believe it to be a theory. If that's the case, then check your settings. You can do this in Betaflight. If you plug your quad in, you can see in the bottom row it says CPU utilization, and you don't really want it to use more than 70% max if you want a black box log as well.
Yeah. And depends on the amount of stuff like turning your accelerometer and your barometer off can help with that. If you're not using those, you can have those off, and it really helps. Aeon is back, slopped it, and hey, thank you, Rhymes with Buck. HMU, hope to meet you someday. You can meet me every week in the Song of Pitch and Throttle, the official liftoff live stream. We had a special episode today with Bubby FPV from the Rotor Ride channel. He came to fly with us, but you can catch us every Sunday at 1600 GMT. Yay. And it's fun, and it's flying, and it's Abdul. Yay.
Oh, he's a
Let
cool guy.
yeah. So I try to be a cool guy. We can't tell much from this log other than that maybe the reason that Boots crashed is that his CPU freaked out, and that's the point at which the quad fell out of the sky. And when he tried to turtle, it was already crazy. It's fried its brains.
Yeah,
Something to
it
watch
is a
out for.
possibility.
It is a
It's a
possibility.
speculation. Yeah.
We'll reach out to him on the Treehouse Discord, which is a great place to hang out if you're an FPV pilot. Link is in the description below, and get some further details for him and follow you guys up on that in next week's stream. What else we got? I seem to remember we had four things we wanted to look at. One was Boots, one was Cub. Ooh, I have an update on that quad that we shared last week. That is true, the Geel Park update. Let's open up file number one, because so now we got the big wobble out of the quad. We made adjustments as we discussed last week, but now she's got the slow wobbles. Now what she's got is the slow wobbles. So let us pull that up. You wanna take the reins on this one and show it to them, buddy?
No.
that
I don't want to crash again.
that works. It's all good. I'm pulling it open. I got it.
You pull it open, but I do have something to say about it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is your 7-inch, right? If I'm correct.
Yes, if I were to have a 7-inch, this would be it. It's not like I do have a 7-inch, but like, let's just say it's a quad, man.
Well, the larger your quad, the more it will naturally drift.
Mm-hmm.
There is, if you imagine your props as plates, like the surface area that it's on is a bigger surface, so it will glide around more.
Mm-hmm.
The little ones, they kind of chop through it and just fly away. But the big ones, when they're cruising, they will do it. And the way to counteract that is iTerm and I forgot the name of it, Abdul. What's
It's
it called?
Robert Vitrifly Romero came in to say hello. Hey, buddy. Is it iTerm wind up that you're talking about? Or iTerm cut off?
No. iTerm would be to help with the Wadball's PID side, but there is a option on the right.
So
In the PID tab. Let me have a look.
now we're gonna have a quick looky tookie. So what's also interesting that I've also been told by another gent who does fly big quads that big quads don't like iTerm, which is very weird. But like that's what I also blamed when I looked at this log. We look at it together because what it looks like is that the iTerm, it doesn't look like iTerm wind up because the iTerm doesn't go all the way to max, but the iTerm state it had there's a residual error even though it's reached the set point, and that residual error correction pushes it off and pushes it off and pushes it off. That
Yep.
seems to cause the wobble, and I hate it, and I want to not have it.
If anyone is wondering about the term iTerm wind up, what it is iTerm gets bigger, the longer something deviates. So if you're telling it to do something and it's not quite doing it, after like half a second or a few ticks of time, it'll start reacting. And the more the error grows, the more the item will grow. However, when there's a wind up problem, something's wrong and then it gets corrected, but then it goes wrong by the time the item wants to measure it again. So you'll get this compounding error where your quad will fly fine, and then the item wind up is so high that the next thing you do is like it just flips you out of control, and it happens a lot on the yaw. So it'll show its head when you try and yaw. You'll maybe bounce, or the throttle will increase even though you're trying to decrease.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, you got to watch out.
So I pulled up a moment of it in time, which is at 30.842 seconds in log number one, where you can see that hey, the blue line is just a little bit above the green line, but this purple line way down here, this is all the I-term that's got pulled together. There's so much I-term that it pulls the blue line below the graph, which causes the red line of P to bounce up to try to fix it, which sends it above the graph, and then the P bounces it again, and then it bounces it again, and that wobble slowly goes out.
Right.
That wobble is not acceptable. So my thoughts on it are to excuse me, excuse me, I beg your pardon. My thoughts on it are to reduce the I term by 10%, okay, and then to increase the P by like 10%, leave the D alone, and attempt to give it less filtering. Like before I do all of these shenanigans, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'll move the filter sliders one notch to the right, because we know she's a clean build. We can see from the noise parameters that there aren't any weird spikes here or there. That's also something that the black box tells us if you take a look at this view. Yep, everything is way down low, below uh, almost, yeah, well below 50 hertz. There is a bunch of low noise, but it's well below 50 hertz. um, and the cutoffs are all handling that in a clean manner. It looks good, it looks happy. So we're gonna first try and give it less filtering and see maybe if those jerks make it into the PID loop, it'll solve it magically. We'll see how the motors are doing. You got to check how hot your motors are at each and every step. Then I'll try pushing these P and I changes, and then we'll see what that goes forward with. What thinkest thou, O mighty Aeon?
No, I do agree for 99% of this. The one thing I don't agree on is the filtering to the right.
You think so?
Um, yeah, because now and then you'll see on your throttle decreases when you slowly ramp down on like a throttle move,
Uh
or
huh.
or the actual throttle, you'll have this kind of bounce across the where your set point is. It only happens a few times, um, but that's something to say, like, okay, that's probably not perfect. Can I look at the P's? Can I look at the D's? And let me just double check everything is tight. I
Hmm.
know yours is. I know it's a clean build. We went through it.
But it's always
Um,
good to double check. It's not Loctited yet, and if your quad is not Loctited, you didn't Loctite your quad when you bashed it down, when you built it, then you always need to double check this. Things vibrate loose. It happens, especially when you bash them around, even when you don't bash them around. So something to double check.
all it takes is for you to hit a leaf, and that okay, now the tiny end of your propeller is now slightly bent. Well, the CG of that prop is off. And
Mm-hmm.
although very minuscule, it's it's enough for the flight controller to say, "Hey, I'm shaking a little bit."
Yep, yep.
And if it doesn't filter that out, it will make it all the way into the motors, and you'll be braking, accelerating, braking, exaggerated, but
Hmm.
it'll be turning off on, off on, off on constantly, trying to adjust for that tiny little thing. Well, you don't want to do that. You want to like knock it down a peg so it
So are you
does
suggesting
fly
that
well.
we actually push the filters to the left and try to treat the hot motors that way and just tell it to, because the rates on her are obscenely low. The rates are obscenely low, like 400, 450 degrees types. She's got a lot
Yeah.
of expo on her as well, and she feels fine. She does not in any way feel sloppy at this point in time.
Yeah.
So we can experiment with filters down as well.
Yeah. Another thing you were saying with larger crafts, they don't like the I-turn.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing you can play about with is what's called I-turn relax. And I believe the higher the value this is, the more it relaxes the well, it kind of makes sense, really, doesn't it? Um, but yeah, it kind of softens what the I-term does because over time it does exponentially grow bigger and bigger.
Hmm. So
That
those
kind
are
of
the,
like,
yeah, those are the notes generally we go over when we're dealing with I term wind up stuff. That's where they wind up, but we're not dealing with that here. But it could definitely be rearing the tip of its head. That's a good note. We can take a
yep,
look at I term relax. So she really doesn't, it's the slow wobbles even through bad air. It's not the fast D wobbles that it's, hey, I don't have enough D to I'm sure there's an innuendo in there as well, to stabilize my way down here. But it's slow wobbles, and slow wobbles are not indicative of a lack of D. Alrighty
right.
tighty, so we have action there. We're going to try and increase the P, we're going to try and decrease the I, and we're going to try and increase the filtering and find the balance with nice cool motors. You're looking for cool motors.
I'd just like to make a shout out for anybody who's trying the experimental 4.3 at the moment. They actually have a specific slider for this problem. It is named tracking, because that's what low wobbles actually are. That they're just the quad not tracking the set points properly. It's bouncing either side of it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you increase the tracking. It wants to stay at that line exactly. There's no margin of error either side. So yeah, if you want to experiment with it, there is the tracking slider.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to play with release candidates, but I'm waiting for Beta Flight 4.3. It's got a bunch of useful stuff in it. It's gonna be nice.
Oh yes, and for the people who have played around with it already, just how fantastic is it?
Cub is
Comment
playing
below.
around with it. If Cub wound up watching all the way to the end, then hey, he's playing around with it. Good job, buddy. Tell us why those filters are off. We want to know. We got one more quad to look at today. Master Aeon, I believe she's one of yours, and you pulled out some fresh black box log out of
I do you know what? No,
her?
but I'm just going to show you how simple it is to actually pull out a log.
I
I thought that
love
would
it.
that
I
would be
love
pretty
it.
interesting.
We're gonna do it live.
Um, so if I can get
There you go. I'm
this
gonna
thing,
pull that there. Alrighty, tighty. If you're
I
watching and you're having a grand old time, oh, we need small cameras
yeah.
again. This is it. We're in. Uh,
So
Here we go. Take us for a ride, Aeon.
I'm going to plug in my quad. It will appear um, as a drive
Aren't you
if
gonna
you
need to
go.
go into beta flight first?
You are. And I oh,
It's really quick and painless, this process. It's easy, it's convenient, it's a minute of flying, and if you want to get on board and make your quad fly good on smooth like steel, this program is not associated with or authorized by Steele Davis, then all you got to do is check out the links in the description below, fill out the form, and submit us your black box log. We're live every Friday around sometime 1800, 1900 is GMT. And we're going to tune your quad just the way we tuned Cub's quad. We're waiting for Cyborg's update from last week. He did get the notes and he did apply them, but we're waiting for the updated log on that Cyborg. We got some updated log from me as well today. We'll get some more from my fly day tomorrow. And we're about to get a fantastic piece of log from Master Aeon. I think he's just gone to grab a USB. No, he hasn't. It hanged. We killed we killed his computer. I think we killed his computer with the streaming. Did we not? He's back. He's back. What's up? Are you here?
I am. You know what's going on. But but yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna skip the whole log thing. It it has a small bounce back on the roll axis, but only the roll axis.
Okay,
Yeah,
which is good. It's positive because that's easy to fix. It's isolated. We try to isolate and cure the problem.
it
Um,
is. It I've discovered it. The P for the roll was set to 48, and the P for the pitch was 32.
I was
So
gonna
I
well, my first question was gonna be what frame is that on, but regardless of the frame, I mean that's a pretty big. That looks like a stretched X. Is that what it is?
uh, I believe it's a True X.
A
It's
true.
the bot AFX,
Well,
or
if it's
just
a
now
true,
affectionately known as the AFX.
even if it's a true, I'm loving that GoPro mount, by the way. Boom, bling
The skull
bling.
mount,
The
you've got to
skull
have it on.
mount, gotta have one. Um, so even if it is a true X, your pitch and your roll are going to be a little bit different just because of the weight distribution on top of the drone. But 32 to 48, there's something wrong with
It's a,
that. It's like, I mean, what are you doing? You'll usually have more on P on the pitch because you need more
this is
authority
true,
there.
yes.
There's more weight there. So to have it going the other way is really really strange. Um, so
Mm.
what you're gonna do is you're gonna dial back that roll P all the way down. Make sure
I
that
am
you
indeed.
adjust. What are the D's at then on roll?
The D is 34.
Okay, so the D hasn't been pushed up. Bringing the P
No,
down should change the PD balance. And maybe you just typed something wrong. Maybe you were going for 30. Start with 38. Maybe you were
I
going for
did.
38.
Yeah, I think that's. I just changed it, so I think I might do that.
See
Put
that.
it to 38 and pretend that mistake never happened.
And that's why you get your friends to help you, kids. The four eye check is real, the hive mind is real, and getting your quad to fly good through smooth like steel is good as well. This live stream is not
Not a
authorized
sponsor,
by Steele Davis. Uh, and with that
although we would
bombshell, I
love it to
think
be.
we'd
Great
love
guy.
it to be. If you're watching this, Steele, then maybe get in touch. We love you.
We do.
Yeet. Thank you for watching and taking part. Cub, Slopped It, Rhymes with Buck, and Robert Witrify Romero. Thanks for playing
Boots.
around Boots, and to the Treehouse Discord peeps, of course. That's all for today's episode. We will catch you next week where we will tune your quad. Check out the links in the description and get on board.
I might be doing a stream from a different country, but hell yeah, I'll try and be there.
All right. See
All
you
right.
guys then. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, and what's the button we push to make